I promise you, Zack Snyder has something to do with Andor, and Zack Snyder and Hans Zimmer have something to do with Andor. You can't convince me otherwise.
The
Because
music definitely. I don't know. This doesn't read very Snydery. It's first off too
oh crap,
politically
I can't hear
smart.
you.
Oh,
Uh, no, I can hear you. Wait, you can hear me, right?
I can hear you.
Okay,
Can you
perfect.
hear
Let's
me?
just yes. Now I can hear you.
Okay. I was just
Um,
gonna say that this is too politically astute of a television show to be. Zack Snyder cannot be within like. I don't even think they produce this in California because I don't think this could be produced in the same state that
no,
Zack Snyder
no,
lives in.
no, I
So
don't think so. Um, but if we're being very, very honest, I think this is okay. So let me just give you my initial thoughts when the episode opened, because
happy to.
it opens with our cop that we don't like, right? It opens with our ex cop that we don't like, obviously, and I feel like they're trying to make me feel sorry for him. It's all sad. He's sad. His stupid sad
They
face.
are trying. Yeah, yeah.
I hate his face, and I want to punch him in the face. And his mom is like giving him cereal with blue milk. Like they're really going into the blue milk.
I mean, it was pretty funny. Like,
It was. It reminded me of was Rise? No. It was
was
what
it?
color was the milk that Luke drank
Oh,
in
it was
the
blue. Oh my
last?
god, where he
It was
milked it.
blue.
Oh my god, people.
Yes,
Oh, I hated that scene so
freaked
much.
out. Right. I'm like, it's just milk. It's just relax.
Well, I
It's
think it was more people were like, "What is Luke doing here?" And he's
like,
just
yeah.
like
Why is
drinking
he
this thing and like, ah, why are you here, Ray?
angry Luke? It was so funny. But no. I was like, why are they trying to make me feel sorry for him? I'm off out the gate. I hated that aspect of the episode because every time we saw him, it was somber, it was sad. It was like his mom was insulting him, but not
But
insulting him. Like it was just, and I'm
he did
like,
have the world's
damn.
worst mom.
And I'm like, damn. This is like but this is the thing that kind of helped me, like personally helped me save that portion of it.
Hmm.
I'm like, this is how like most incels, right? Um, this is how they describe their parents, right? Their mom. This is why most incels are the way they are, right? Because it's all like a trash mom and how their mom made them feel. Now they hate women, right?
It's true. I mean, there was like this like political element to it. I think it was more like a setup for me. I mean, for me, this episode felt like all setup, which I think we
Yes,
called
again,
last
last
episode.
episode. And I think the thing for after sitting through it's 9 episodes, right?
Yep.
That's what
It's
IMDb
nine
says.
or
It's nine
10, yeah.
episodes. So after sitting through episodes 1, 2, and 3, I feel like this is a format. We're
Hmm.
gonna get two fillery episodes or two setup episodes and then a big bang, right? Now, the question I wanted to ask you based off that, how does that work for you?
Somewhat. I mean,
Wow.
the thing is, like the third episode of this show was
Mhm.
so good that I have a feeling that the sixth episode of this show is going to be
Is
so
gonna live up
good
to that.
that
Right.
it makes like these two setup episodes worth it. Like they're not
Worth it.
bad. Like
No, they're
they're
not.
they're not bad, but they're also just like not the most engaging
No, they're
40 minutes of
it
entertainment. Like
felt long, which is why when okay, so you just topped off, right? Yesterday, or was it yesterday or 2 days ago, where I just finished watching House of Dragon
mhm.
and we got here. You just finished watching it. So
I did. Today's my busy day.
when you told me you're still watching, I was like, man, you got a long way to go.
Yeah,
It felt
yeah.
long. It
It felt
felt
long. It felt long, yeah.
yeah. But so I felt like they're also moving away from ACAB to like just political state, like the police state rather. It's just like whenever we get it's not the capital. Whenever we get is it where is the Empire's capital?
Coruscant?
Is it Coruscant?
You mean
Okay,
where Mon Mothma
this is
is? That's
pre.
Coruscant.
Yeah, no. Where the generals are, the 5 star.
Oh, we don't know where they are. I don't think. Did they
Okay,
say where
okay,
they are?
yeah.
Wherever there's some imperial base.
Yeah, and some imperial base. Whenever we get there, it just feels police state.
Hmm.
Like they could be in a building, and it's just heavy. Like I feel like someone is gonna come out and put their, like we're gonna get that salute at some point. Like it just feels like that, right? It was funny to me that not Jake Gyllenhaal, uh, because I mean he does. I saw it today. I'm like, yo, this is if Jake Gyllenhaal needed a stunt double for something. and we need you to lose like 60 pounds, Jake. This is the guy. So not Jake Gyllenhaal and his boss, the super pressed 3-star general lady. I'm just gonna call him 3-star general and 5-star general.
She's not a general. She's
she's a
commander.
Commander.
Yeah, something like that.
When
she's
they were
definitely
having their
below the dude.
Yes, they were having their conversation, right? And he's like, they were trying to set up. So this is my thought process on all of it. What's going to happen is, I remember saying last week that I remember saying last
Is your dog destroying your house?
Yes. Well, she's like doing something, and every time I look up, she stops. Like she hears me talking, and then she goes back to it. I remember saying last week that Irish Cop was going to come back. So this is what happens, right? Because at the end of this episode, we get our not cop.
Well, Mo, everyone has their own rebellion, as Paulina is showing you. All right.
No, I remember saying Irish Cop. Okay, hold on. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no. So while Mo is gone, I will tell you the real truth, which is that they are going to come back to Andor's planet that he started on for the last episodes. So my best is that each of these is, I think there's actually 12 episodes. So there's the initial arc, that was 3. Then there is these 3 episodes that are about this initial like terrorism thing that he's doing, political terrorism. And then I think he's going to go to the guy from Rogue One, Saul, whatever, sounds like gonorrhea. All right. Then he's going to go back to his like starter planet, because they have not abandoned the starter planet in this episode. And it like felt like a weird thing that they were just including. Like, why did they show that one random Imperial like flunky in that city,
right?
In the city, right? Because I really do think, and this is 100% me. I didn't read any leaks or anything. I think it's going to go this arc, him interacting with the guy from Rogue One, who's also in like the Clone Wars cartoon, and then it goes back to his like home planet. Like I think that's going to be the 3 stories, because they're going to go like, why did they show you like them setting up the Imperial occupation if he's not going to go
on that planet? But this is my take on.
And he gets the droid at some point, because the droid is in. Yeah.
So this is my take on the villain side of it. I feel like Irish Cop is going to show up.
I mean, if he goes back to the planet, he definitely will be there.
And Irish Cop is going to show up with our cop that we don't like. They're going to have a conversation, because he definitely, opened his little tracker thing, right? And definitely looked at Andor and was like, I'm not going to let this one go. He finds a way to get back, to get to either get to that lady, and she's going to use him, because she's not going to be the one who's going to be directly, like, she's not going to put her neck on the line. Obviously, she's not going to ruin her career, but she's going to use him, and he becomes our kind of main villain, because right now we don't have a villain arc. We just have him dealing with this heist that they're setting up. So that's my thing. He gets back, or he finds an inn, and that's how. Because I think the Irish Cop has connections.
I think the question is, who's the uncle? So like, what is the uncle? Could be that the boss, who's played by the guy who's the commander in Endeavor.
Length.
Like, because there's Uncle Hodor, right? Hodor. Yeah, like whatever the Holo. I don't remember whatever the uncle is.
It's a weird name.
Yeah, so like, I have a feeling he's gonna go work for Imperial Intelligence. Like, and that's how he gets like wrapped
intel in this thing, right?
Right, because definitely a spy lady is going to be like the big villain, right? So like, and she's not going to discover. She might discover who Andor is at the end of this arc, but like, it's a while before like they're going to notice him. Like,
because everything right now, as they've set up, is too random to be done by one person. But then they also said, if you were going to, lead a rebellion, you wouldn't hit the same place continue. You know, you would hit random spots where no one is actually looking. So that's, I mean, that is kind of smart. I think, but actually, so back this episode, I liked. I wouldn't say I loved. I liked it.
Yeah,
You know,
it
it
was
was a
fine.
very
Like,
good. It was a very fun setup episode. It did feel long. Um, I think getting to meet our, I think the heist is gonna go off without a hitch.
I think it's
If
gonna
one,
go off. It's gonna succeed. Obviously, like Andor
yes,
survives, right? So like
yes,
he
obviously.
has plot armor, as the YouTube people
Oh,
would say,
love it.
because we know he
He's
survives
Batman,
in for Rogue One. So
right?
I think it's gonna go most. I think it's gonna be successful, but I think a bunch of
Mhm.
these people are gonna die. I definitely the
Actually,
kid. The kid
oh,
is definitely
definitely,
dead because
yes,
he's the true
definitely.
believer, right? And Andor has his book. So like Andor has to become a believer in the rebellion. So
Yes,
like how and
and
he's willing to
I think
sacrifice everything for it.
I think their inside man dies as well.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
I think he either sacrifices himself to make sure everything goes off without a hitch, or or maybe he doesn't die. Maybe he gets caught.
Yeah, he might get
And
caught. Yeah.
yes, uh, I mean, I also want to think that the hard guy dies because every. I feel like if you tell your story, like the reason why you're doing this and stuff like this, they're just you're redshirting yourself, right? You might as well just put on a red shirt. So I think
Yeah.
that's what happens. But I also enjoyed getting to like really know our guys, right? Really know our characters. I think that's one of the better parts of this episode is that yes, we got a slight introduction last week, but I feel like this week we get to delve more into these characters because we are going to be with them for another week. So it's kind of cool to know who they are.
Also,
Go
I
ahead.
think those the kid and the hard guy die because they're the only ones with backstories. Well, and also
Yes.
one of the like the leader lady or her girlfriend, right? Because by implication, they're sleeping together, right? Like that's
Yeah, because it was very like, don't you can dress yourself. Like
yeah.
and then the other guy was like, yeah, she's spoken for. I'm like, why is this
And then as
important?
they're like both exiting the like, do they just not want to say that they're like, is this a classic like the two girls are making out in the background of Rise of Skywalker, like kind of Star Wars and queer people? But like
Yeah,
I think one of them could
the
die,
agenda.
but
Right.
definitely the two dudes with the backstories are dead. The African American
Yes.
guy who's like the leader of their unit, like doesn't have a backstory, so he could survive.
Yes, I can see that. And
Like,
again, the other African American guy. I mean, you can't have two.
I mean, this is Star Wars, right?
Oh
All
my
right.
god! I need to be stopped. But this is stopping.
Look, it was really scary in Rise of Skywalker when Billy D. Williams and John Boyega were in the same scene. Like, oof.
Yeah,
Ugh.
one of them was, yeah, and it was weird. And then they had the other black girl. I'm like, yo, that's three black people in Star Wars at
Well,
the same
one's a
time.
woman, so you get like
Okay, yeah. Check the box, right?
check the
I'm
box.
kidding. I'm kidding.
We're just
Yeah, we're just like we should stop and get back to this episode. But yes, I believe I just like you, the true believer dies. Like the true believer always dies to kind of get the protagonist, like to get him to draw him into to the cause. They kind of have a bond, like they do have a bond, right? It's clear that out of the three, out of all of them, they're the ones with a kind of a bond, right? It looks like a brother type thing. It feels like they're cool. He's the most accepting. And even when he revealed himself, and he's just like, okay, next, like, I don't care. And everyone else had to like take a second to adjust. He just, so
because
yeah,
he
he's gone.
believes everybody has their own rebellion.
Yes.
Right? Like, which I thought was a good line. Like, it's not.
Yes.
It's not a bad line. It's just a very memeable line. So
very. I can't wait till. You know what? You know how I feel about that. This is how I feel about that. The same way certain people are using the Punisher wrong. That line is gonna be used by the wrong people.
I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, it feels to me more like I could. There's a specific other meme line that, but we'll see if it gets picked up. I don't know if it's going to get picked up by the meme,
Right.
the meme machine. But I did appreciate. I talked at the beginning. Like this episode was really politically astute, though. The sort of
Yes.
like what drives people to join these kind of freedom fighting campaigns. Like you had the one
Right.
dude who was basically a Marxist, like being, like the empire owns the means of production, and we got to stop them. And then the other guy was just like, no, my people got fucked over by
Right.
the empire, and my brother, killed himself because of imperial oppression, and like I was angry before, but I don't know what I am now. Like that is
Right.
also a
That
really good
was
line.
oof. That
So,
was kind of that was kind of tough. Like no, I will say this though: the writing for this show
mhm.
is up there. I just think giving us 2 setup episodes back to back isn't the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of like this episode, I think more than the last one, had a little bit of an arc to it,
Yes, it did.
where it was
It did.
like they accepted Andor, or at least seemed to have accepted Andor
Right
at the
at this
end.
point.
So I guess that was somewhat satisfying. But the fact that every other storyline in the episode was nothing. They're sweet,
Yeah.
but like I felt bad for Mon Mothma, but it felt like her
Oh, with
scenes
her
in this
daughter. Oh,
and the
that was
husband, like on the
tough.
bike, but also those scenes felt like nothing burger. Like if
No,
they had just like
they
not been
just
in the
happened.
episode,
It wouldn't
like
matter. I think
yeah,
you'd have knocked off 20, maybe 10 minutes. Like, okay, with the exception of maybe our commander and not Jake Gyllenhaal, I think every other scene just was nothing burger. Like, I mean, okay, maybe okay. So these are the 3 important things I think that happened, right? The cop or ex-cop rather, and his uncle. That's a good setup. I want to see where that goes.
that's gonna get paid
Uh,
off in the next episode where we find out who the
right,
uncle is and what the job that he gets is.
right. Then our commander lady and not Jake Gyllenhaal. That's also a good setup for. I'm gonna keep saying that until I get his name at some point. That's a good
I didn't
setup.
catch what the character's name was, so
I don't think they cared enough to say his name. He gets like 3 lines an episode.
yeah,
And,
assistant number 2.
right. And so that's a good setup. I'd like to see where that goes. But Mon Mothma was just, I don't know. And then the thing with what's his name, the shop owner and his assistant.
Well,
Okay.
that felt more like like trying to build anticipation about what's about to happen, right? That Luthien is like so worried, like this big, like that felt organically part of the episode to me.
I
And the
mean,
way the Mon
yes,
Mothma stuff just felt like you need to remember that Mon Mothma is on this show
is on this show. Right. I
compared
mean,
to her
okay, so
last episode, which felt like it. Like,
her last episode was amazing.
like also, I felt her performance was good too. I felt like the scenes in that episode introduced Mon Mothma, and I thought it was like going somewhere. And then like the cop scene in this episode felt like it was going somewhere. Even like the Luthien thing felt like it was going somewhere. Like him being
Right.
super like, will they
Worried.
succeed or not? Right.
Yeah.
And then obviously the
Hey, we
Andor
know
stuff,
they would. Yeah.
right. And then the spy lady, like all of that goes somewhere, right? The Mon Mothma stuff's just kind of like Mon Mothma's kid sucks. Her husband sucks even more.
Her kid really sucks. Like that was tough.
Like
damn. Like the thing about Mon Mothma's kids sucking is like, listen, you are born. Okay, so the way everything is set up, right? Because remember last week's episode when the cop gets back to Coruscant, he goes into the building and the elevator goes all the way down. Mon Mothma, like you're Mon Mothma's daughter. You live up. You live in the sky. Like you would. It's the trope, right? It's the rich kid trope, and how they're.
Also, her dad sucks. Like,
well, her dad actually like super sucks.
Yeah, like
which
so.
Is
yeah.
I mean, the thing in the car where he goes, where they're talking about the dinner, and it's like, I didn't think you'd be interested because it's a charity, and we know. Oof, that was kind of shade. It was.
That was kind of shade, Mo. That was like the shade was when he buzzes the guy and is like, "Can we take the expressway, please?" Like that's shade. She just like called him on his shit. She was like,
"Yeah, she did." And so she again, we learned last week that he's a piece of shit and doubled down on it.
Double down. Like that scene with her spoiled ass kid, who I can somewhat forgive because she's a kid, I guess. Maybe she's a college student, but I think she's like supposed to be like high school.
Yeah, it feels high school to me.
Yeah, but her dad is just like that whole time. He's just like, I'm gonna let mom flounder here, just like I'm gonna torture her basically.
Right.
And you're just like,
Right. So
damn, this
I
family
do kind of want.
sucks.
I know. I kind of want to know what happens with Mr. Mothma at the end of it. I'm
We'll
just
see.
calling. I'm calling
I
him
mean,
Mr.
that's what
Mothma,
he is.
right? Because she's Mothma.
I mean, no one calls her. No one's called her by her. Like, is that what she is? Mothma? Is it Mon? Hello, Mon. How you doing,
Right.
Mon? My mom, Mon, is coming to my class on Monday to speak on. I don't know. I couldn't come up with a Mon related fun
Right.
thing.
Let me check because it is. I need to know now. It is Mothma.
So, Mr. Mothma
Mr.
is
Oh man.
although probably they don't have the same last name because my Mothma is the kind of person who would keep her own
Yeah,
name.
she definitely keep her last name. Fuck you.
Yeah, because I
Oh
mean,
man.
she looks like I think the one thing that makes me question my Mothma is that guy sucks. Like not just like normal sucks, but like epic sucks.
He does. You know what's funny? Today I was watching and I was like, wait, is this the guy from Battlestar Galactica? You know, the shitty was he the president's assistant or the guy who ended up becoming, you know, the guy.
Balthar or whatever his name is. No, it's not that
Yes.
dude. It's not that dude.
He
He
gave
looks
me
like
those
him. The
vibes. Yes.
hair, and then the guy has a beard. No, that guy
Then
is
he got the
way
beard.
more
Yeah.
annoying that actor is. Oh my god, why are you bringing up my Battlestar trauma?
I'm so sorry because I have that trauma as well.
Oh my
I have
god.
that trauma as well. But no,
God, the early 90s, man.
just horrible. But no, so ultimately, how did we miss anything?
I don't think we really missed anything. I
Because
think that
as for a short, contained episode, it still felt long, but that's just because it felt long. But
I
think
just
we got
really want to
pretty
see
much
what happens. Like
right at this point. Like you've laid all these, you've planted all these seeds. Where is it all going? So, I mean, again, for a 40-minute episode, it felt like it was an hour and plus, just because I feel like they dragged a couple storylines, right?
oh, they definitely did.
I think the cop thing you could have done in the very first scene and never went back to it, right? But
Agreed.
They're like, nah, you're not gonna forget about this guy. You're gonna feel sorry for him. His mom. Oh my god.
Yeah. I actually think that Andor actually feels a little bit like Rings of Power, except Rings of Power hasn't gotten to that like big payoff episode. Although I didn't watch last week's yet, I still haven't gotten around to it. So maybe there is that moment.
Don't no. I promise you. Okay, you know what?
Okay, well,
Watch it.
but we learned in episode 3 of Andor that this show is going to pay it off. So like, I'm more willing to be patient with it a little bit instead of like one episode of setup is enough. Like,
okay. So with that said, how do you rate this episode?
Oof. C+.
I mean, you did all that groundwork to give it a C+.
It's a C+. Like as an episode, like I think as an experience of television, I watch as C+. I think it's made at an A- level, but I think the experience of this individual episode was C+.
Okay,
like I think the show is still like A- level production and
I can't
quality,
argue
but
with
just
that.
like
It looks good. The acting is good in points. You know, again, Mon Mothma in every scene she chews it up. Cassian, or Clem as he is right now, he's pretty good.
He's very good. It's very like it's a very grounded performance. Like
yes,
you don't usually get.
I think again, we're blessed that he's around to pick up and play the same character he played, before. So I think that continuity helps, and he's not old like Harrison Ford, and so we don't have to get a different actor come into play. You know what? I really, really hate KK for Solo. I'm just gonna say that because I feel like what is happening with Andor, what happened with Obi-Wan, that's what should have happened with Solo.
There's no way Harrison Ford was ever gonna do a Solo.
Well, not Harrison Ford. Aiden Albright. That's not his name. Aiden, whatever his
whatever his
last
name
name.
is. Yeah, I guess
I think he's a solid actor.
he was fine.
And I think
Like that movie
he yelled.
was stupid, but like
Yes.
fine. Like but it look that movie was a victim of The Last Jedi, right?
100%.
Like
Yes.
Last
It
Jedi
fell in a bad time.
was so toxic to the Star Wars community. The Star Wars community had not at all healed its wounds over Last Jedi, which it kind of, sort of, maybe, people. Well, but it's more like the axe forgets, but the tree remembers kind of attitude towards post Last Jedi Star Wars fandom. But like, if Solo was to come out today, I think it would be much better received.
Yes, but I also feel like if you take Solo and you take because people were mad people weren't just mad about Last Jedi, right? Generally, people liked Force Awakens, but people were mad that you killed Han Solo.
Were they mad? I guess they were. I don't know.
They were mad. They were big mad.
I don't know.
But they let it go because they liked the movie, and so fast forward to giving us like, oh, a new like Han Solo is coming back, and it's an origin story of sorts, right? I felt like people weren't accepting of it. If Han was still alive, I think people would have been way more accepting of that.
I just don't know. Like, I guess that might be true. I just can't imagine anyone being upset that Han Solo made it 9 Star Wars, or I guess 4 Star Wars movies that he appeared in. Because like Harrison Ford wanted that man to die in The Empire Strikes Back.
He did.
He wanted him to die in Return of the Jedi. Like he was like he only went back to that movie because Disney agreed to kill him. And he still came back for that 6th movie, like that.
Yes, he did. So he still did more movies than he wanted.
So I don't know. I was just like, come on, people. Like, why are you mad about it? And I actually thought Han's death in Force Awakens was very powerful.
Yeah, it was.
And so it's just like Solo just died for, I'm gonna put this in scare quotes, the sins of Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Like whether you think Last Jedi is a great movie or a fine movie or a bad movie, like it just
great movie.
I don't know. Solo was fine. People accept the prequels. It was definitely not as bad. It was at least okay. It was not worse than.
It was better than
any of the prequel films.
It was better than the worst prequel movie.
I don't know if it was better than Revenge of the Sith, but
yes,
no. It had nothing as cool. Like Revenge of the Sith had way cooler stuff than any single moment of Solo.
The Revenge of the Sith has only one scene that is like goated in all of Star Wars, and that's the
which one? We're talking about the high ground.
Yeah, no, not the entire the 9-minute and 30-second fight scene.
I don't know. There's lots of things I love about Revenge of the Sith. Like I love Mace Windu versus Emperor Palpatine. Like I think that's awesome. I think that like all the Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin stuff in that movie is good, like earlier and later. I think the way that they show like Anakin's like gradual kind of like
it's perfect
is well done. It has the best Hayden Christensen performance of any of the 2 movies he was in. And I just think like that look, Revenge of the Sith also has a lot of stupid shit. Like everything dealing with General Grievous is just like what is this, George? Like George. And of course Natalie Portman dying of a broken heart. Like again, there's that movie is high highs and low lows.
And super low lows. But I think because to me Solo was a very mid, like it didn't go to me, Solo didn't go up or down. It was and it wasn't a flat line like at the bottom. It was very mid. It was
slightly below mid.
Okay. Okay. No, and the reason why I bring up Solo is because I feel like if you do Solo in the style of Andor, I think you could.
Is Han Solo this character though? Like, I mean that really seriously. I think people think that Han Solo is this character. Han Solo
to be dark. Yeah, I think that's why another reason why Solo didn't work out is because people want Solo to be Harrison Ford, like cool and dark and mysterious, but that's Harrison Ford.
That is Harrison Ford. He's
That's
also
what Han
cool,
Solo.
dark, and mysterious in one movie. And at the end of that movie, he comes back and saves Luke. And then he is just like Harrison Ford romantic lead for the other 2 movies that he's in. Like, and I'm not Christian. Like, I love Han Solo. He's like roguish, but he has a heart of gold. Like, there's not a like core darkness to Han Solo, right?
Okay.
The way there is to Andor. Like, Andor is, the like troubled political operative. Like, Andor and Rogue One is a dark story.
So if you did,
to me, Han Solo is not a dark story.
So if you did Han Solo, you would do it on the other spectrum, sitcom.
Yeah, I'm not a sitcom, not a sitcom, but like a light. It's like action adventure. Like, it is this man and his walking teddy bear best friend, and Donald Glover having adventures. Like, that's Han Solo. Right?
I would watch 9 episodes of that.
I would too. Like, that's fun
every day.
But people want Han Solo to be Punisher, or they want him to be Netflix's Daredevil. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's like, God help us, Boba Fett. Like, Boba Fett is also this character. Boba Fett sucks. All right, I'm just gonna say it again. Boba Fett sucks. He is cool looking in Empire Strikes Back, and then he dies like a punk. That is the most he is in those movies. All right.
Wow.
Where's Boba Fett?
Please tell us how you really feel.
Like, I will always forget. Like, I have 37 years of Star Wars trauma and opinions, Mo. They just will spill out of me. All right. Boba Fett is a punk. Okay. He is in 2 things. He looks cool in Empire Strikes Back, and then he dies like a punk in Return of the Jedi. All right. Boba Fett, where's Boba Fett? In the Sarlacc pit. He spends more time in the Sarlacc pit than anything else he does in the Star Wars universe. Like, people want him to be the Punisher. He's not the Punisher. He sucks. He's a cool toy. All right. Chill, people. Chill. Mandalorian, cooler than Boba Fett, as you learned when you got the Boba Fett show. Because the reason why the Boba Fett show sucked, it had bad writing, it had bad special effects. Boba Fett, though, is a terrible character. And he's especially a terrible character in the current Disney continuity. Because, oh my God, did the 90s continuity try to save Boba Fett, but they still didn't do a very good job. But the Disney continuity has failed him even more than the 90s continuity, which I didn't think was possible. So, again, Star Wars as a general thing is not as dark as you want it to be. I think Andor is successful because Andor is doing a good job of tapping into the aspects of Star Wars that are more morally gray. But it's still tied to something that's fundamentally, like, good, which is that empires suck, all right, and you should rebel against this empire. All right. So I love when you raise money, folks, but don't dress up like a stormtrooper when you do it. Come
on. I had to let you have the floor. That was epic, and I hope Patrick watches this episode so he can extrapolate that. And there's memes for days. Boba Fett sucks. Listen, I need to send this episode to Patrick so he can start working on the memeage. But no, again, the reason I brought up Solo was obviously I really have a special place for Solo, the character.
Yeah,
and I thought the movie was okay. Yeah, I feel like now watching Andor, I'm like,
your dog is in a mood today.
Watching Andor, I just
again, folks. Again, I'm just gonna say it again. Everyone has their own rebellion. All right. And Paulina's is whatever she's doing today. All right.
She's not having it. It's like it's been all day. Work, nothing. Like I can't get 2 seconds to myself. But no, watching Andor just makes me feel like, damn, we should have gotten a Solo show at the instead. And I hope Disney feels the same way and brings Aiden back and like just.
I mean, it's not like his career's got amazing things. Although,
right, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he's. I feel like after Solo, it kind of just went in the pits because Solo was such a big, it's a big tentpole. It's a flop. Then it's Disney. Like if you fail in a Disney movie,
it was the first Star Wars movie to flop. Like,
no, let's really think about it though. If you fail in a Disney movie, your career really almost doesn't go anywhere. Let's think of John Carter from Mars.
Oh God.
Right.
Who? But
Killed.
I actually just felt bad for that kid.
Yeah, it
Like,
killed his career before he got off the ground.
because like
Friday, he was great from Friday Night Football. Was it
Friday
Friday Night?
Lights.
Friday Night Lights. Like, come on.
Wasn't he also Gambit? Was he Gambit in the?
And then he was like it just. I think he was trying hard to get something off the ground. And
but like, look, the person who failed, whatever that actor's name is, I think it's like Taylor something.
Yeah,
the kid, his agent. Like, if I was his agent, someone said, "We're gonna make a John Carter of Mars rather than Mars," although that would be funny. I would be like, one, who the fuck is John Carter of Mars? Two, no, like, do not get my client anywhere near this like warmed over shit that inspired George Lucas 50 years ago. Like, who thought that movie was going to be successful? Like, come on.
I mean, that was how Bob Iger got his job, was because as soon as the former Disney producer, when that movie failed, got fired ASAP. Like, it's like, bye.
They spent a lot of money in that movie too.
They did. They lost a lot of money, and that's when Bob Iger comes on board and turns everything around, buys Pixar, and then they start looking for a way to get Star Wars because they couldn't make their own. So they're like, you know what, let's just go buy it. Yeah, Bob Iger came and changed everything. Got the Marvel thing off the ground.
But John Carter was after Marvel, right? It was.
No,
Disney has owned Marvel for a long time now.
They just didn't do anything with it.
Well, I mean,
John Carter.
They bought it when Avengers came out. And when did Avengers come out? Avengers came out. Avengers 1. 2012. So they've owned.
It did come out 2012.
Disney owned Marvel for 10 years. And then John Carter
2012
was also 2012.
Wow.
So
that is interesting.
So that was what might call it an all over the place year for Disney.
Yeah. Okay, and then Bob Iger comes on board and then switches everything around and makes all the money in the world and leaves.
He made Disney a lot of money, but he did the smart thing. He got out when the going was good.
Right, was good. So let me grade this show because I've done everything but grade this episode, and I feel like I did that because I didn't want to give it a C, which it really is a C. It's again another setup episode. Yes, we get more plot, but it's a setup episode. And if I feel like next week we're gonna be like, oh, this is a B or an A, that's what we're gonna do. But if okay, now the next question is, if this is the format moving forward, it has to be 9 episodes.
It's 12, I think.
Because, well, then that makes sense. Every 3 episodes, right? That would make sense.
Every 3 episodes, yeah. It is according to Wikipedia, which, by the way, every time we do this IMDb versus Wikipedia thing, Wikipedia is right. Wikipedia gives us 12 episodes. So that means there's 4 3-episode arcs.
Okay. So the villain episode has to come in. Villain arc has to happen.
Oh man, the 23rd, is that the week of Thanksgiving? Yeah.
Hold on.
It's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's 12 episodes. I think it's also been given a second season, hasn't it?
Well, it was greenlit with 2 seasons.
Oh, okay. So
because it's supposed to go up right. They've said that they're going to go right up to the scene that opens Rogue One.
IMDb has 24.
There you go.
Because 2 seasons. But no, this is a C episode, so I'm guessing we're gonna get this 3 split all the way through. And I mean, like you said in the beginning of this, they've done enough to keep people interested, right? That 3rd episode is what is going to bring people back. So the 6th episode has to, be fire.
I hope it is. All right, Mo, before we go though, all right. Over under on who dies in this episode. We'll start with easy one. You're gonna take the over, the under on Marxist ideological kid.
Oh, I'm taking over.
All right. Guy whose brother got murdered.
That's a tough one.
All right, over under.
Over.
Okay, all right. The Black Squad leader. That's the guy who's actually with them.
Under.
Under. Medic girl.
Oof. He called her a healer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say under.
Okay. Boss lady.
I'm also gonna say under. We're not gonna lose 2 lesbians.
Okay. All right. Lieutenant. Who's
You see, I don't want to say the over or under. I'm just gonna say the line because I don't think he dies. I think he gets captured.
Okay. All right. That's all of them, right? Am I not missing anyone? Am I?
Yeah, pretty much.
There might be like one other miscellaneous guy floating around who doesn't matter.
Andor definitely.
Oh yeah, die. I mean, we literally know an Andor. I mean, I don't know. There was somebody who hadn't seen Rogue One who was watching this, so I guess.
No, he did. He did go back and watch Rogue One and came back the next week.
Anyway, we know when Andor dies, so like.
I mean, let's be honest. It's not. It is a spoiler, but it's not a spoiler. It's only a spoiler if you were under a rock the last 10 years. But
was it 10 years? All right, Mo. What year did Rogue One come out?
I'll just check IMDb.
It's 2016. If you're just gonna check IMDb. The year.
Rogue One. Star Wars story. And we still haven't gotten Saul Guerrero.
Yeah, I think we get him next. I think he's the next arc.
2016.
Because I think Andor is going to be more committed to the rebellion after this. And so he's going to get sent to Saul to like become like a real rebel. Yeah.
Right. All right. So that is Andor episode 5. I know.
Rebel.
So that's Andor episode 5. You have our thoughts. You have our grades. Hopefully you're gonna be compelled to come back next week to watch.
So unlike the Axe, don't forget that next week there's another one.
Right. Thank you for watching. How do we do not be a rebel? And hit that like and subscribe button. Look, everyone can be a rebel. But
that like and subscribe button is how Mo gets a dog sitter so that his dog's energy doesn't interrupt the.
Fantastic! It's all over the audio. It's just amazing. I love it. But no, thank you very much. We'll catch you next week for another episode of Andor. Peace.